he be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Across the Bifrost, the Mighty Thor podcast, where on each and every episode we explore the world of Marvel's Mighty Thor. On today's episode, myself, Ryan Doze, and our friend Eric Teske are going to be breaking down everything that happened in Immortal Thor number 13, The Vengeance of the Gods. Eric is back because last time we talked about a new comic, we knew that one of our mutual favorite characters, Hercules, was going to be featured in this issue of Thor. So, Eric, super glad that we get to talk about Thor and Loki, but most importantly, we finally get to talk about Hercules. So, I don't know, man. It's just good. It's always just good to have you back. We chat all the time, so it feels weird to like invite you to the show now. But I don't know, man. How are you feeling about this issue and our chat?
You know, I could not miss the big Thor Hercules team up when I saw this
Reunited,
one
and it
coming.
feels so good.
Try to hold me back, try to keep me away because this I've been waiting for years to see Thor and Hercules get back together in an issue. So I'm super excited.
Me trying to hold you back would be hilarious because you are way stronger than I am, and I feel very confident in that. Which, by the way, everybody, a little peek behind the curtain. If you haven't checked out our Patreon content over the last few weeks, Faz and our buddy Josh Link, we suggested that our guy Eric should get into cosplay. So you should go check out like Eric's profile on Instagram and just be like, what character could Eric play? Eric, if you had a choice, I think Faz probably wants to know the answer to this question, so we'll just ask it for everybody to know. If you were to cosplay a Marvel character, who do you think you would cosplay?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so if I could get over my body dysmorphia and get the confidence to, I think I would go for Hercules. I don't know about the tattoos though. It would be an alternate universe Hercules where he has like a sleeve. But
Punk rock Hercules.
punk rock Hercules, I mean, that's actually a banger idea. Like that's pretty cool.
Yeah. You could do because I mean you got the beard, you got kind of the shorter, darker hair. You could do it. You could do it. And hey, we're gonna be talking about Hercules with Eric a lot over the next few weeks because Eric is kind of signed on to be like our Hercules guest host over this stint of issues. And the best thing about breaking down comics with Eric, everybody, is he makes notes and he deep dives and he goes down the rabbit holes. And we were saying in our pregame how Al Ewing and his run on Thor feels like it's tailor-made for Eric's reading list because much like me, Eric, you're not an X reader. You're not a Spider-Man reader. Like we're pretty like locked in on this corner of the Marvel universe, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really all my worlds are colliding, and a lot of it has to do with Al Ewing, which I never really sort of like when I got into comics picked out a favorite writer or anything like that. I just gravitated towards the things that I liked, and it turns out it's a lot of Guardians of the Galaxy, a lot of Hercules stuff, a lot of Thor stuff, and it just so happens a lot of these worlds are kind of colliding in issues like this.
Yeah. And so this issue is really where Eric is going to shine, everybody. And I'm going to just try to, catch some rays while he shines in this issue. Before we dig into the actual substance of it, there is a few changes here. We are in our first issue with our new recurring artist, Jan Bazaldua, who is taking over the reins from our previous how do you say this, regular artist who started off the run, Martin Coccolo, friend of the show, fantastic guy. We're so excited for what Martin is going to be doing this fall and some of the cool things that are ahead for him. And we got a little run of guest artists there. Valentina Pinti, Ibram Roberson, and Carlos Magno filled in, but now Jan is taking the reins. So without maybe giving away too much, Eric, how did you feel Jan's maiden voyage with the Immortal Thor went, and what about their style kind of caught your eye?
I think they're off to a fantastic start. I think they are finding a really good balance between sort of the high rendered, a little bit more realistic looking images and a more sketchier looks. So it is a little bit more refined than just like a rough sketchiness. You can tell that I mean, they've got to crank out these issues. If they're the ongoing artist, they've got to really work fast. And so some of
Right.
the parts you're like, okay, maybe some of the facial expressions or some of the body positions are a little bit like they're getting through this quickly. They're drawing as fast as they can. But the splash pages, some of the poses, extremely dynamic, really interesting perspectives, and they're not afraid to play with some of the body positioning to make it more dynamic, to make it feel more exaggerated. I mean, they're actually breaking the silhouette a little bit to feel a little bit distorted in parts, and that gives it a little bit more motion. And I think it's a creative solution. So I think all in all, I'm rambling, but like all things considered, really pleased what I'm seeing out the gate here, and I think that I can get comfortable with this. I can get cozy in the
Yeah.
pocket with this, the new artist. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there are. I agree. I agree with you on that. Though, where I really thought Jan really shined was the splash pages, and I believe, and I hope that he corrects me if I'm wrong here, but I believe it was Martin Cocola that said like the big splash pages are actually kind of easier because you get to stay in that one image for a while and you get to kind of sit in that and work on just one thing for a time. I thought Jan really, I mean, just shone so brightly in the big splash pages, especially with, Thor and the chariot with the goats and the ravens, and then later on with Nyx, the Night Mother, that big, splash page reveal, and then of course, at the end, the arrival of our bad for the next issue, I guess, is a version of Zeus that is back to have words with his son. I thought those splash pages were just fantastic. So, well, good. And we're also getting a new colorist here. Matt Hollingsworth is taking the reins over from, honestly, one of the best colorists doing work nowadays in Matt Wilson. Matt Wilson's run on Thor is I guess it's only second to the remaining lettering god Joe Sabino, who continues his. I feel like it's going to be decades run on this book, and we're so happy for, what Martine gets to go on and do, what Matthew Wilson gets to go on and do, and we're just excited for the new kind of crop of talent that we get to hopefully sit with for a while and get used to their style and their vibe, kind of what Eric was saying there. But first impression is, man, we're it's probably going to take a little bit of time to get used to, but I feel like we've kind of been primed to get used to a different style over the last few issues because we haven't had a consistent artist for more than two issues in half a year. Like it feels like it's been a while.
It really adds up, yeah, when you think about it.
Yeah, because we didn't have a similar artist for the annual either. That was David Baldion who did the main Thor story in that issue. But all that being said, excited that Jan is here. Excited to see what they can add to this run. But Eric, we should probably dig into the story that is the vengeance of the gods. I'm gonna, as always, give a kind of a 30,000 foot view look at what this issue had for us, and then Eric and I will kind of pick apart the pieces that we enjoy and things we had questions about. And because Eric is so awesome at doing notes, we have a lot of the connecting pieces, a lot of the little references. Eric hunted those down and found out, what that means, what that entails. So here we go, everybody. We start off with Thor going to Hercules' island and kind of inquiring as to what help Hercules can offer. They catch up a little bit, they reminisce. Eric and I talked a little bit about in the pregame that they haven't seen each other in a long time, actually. And that feels like a crime. It feels like Hercules and Thor should get like at least a yearly team up to go do some, as they call them in this issue, some deific duo shenanigans. Hercules has been up to a lot of stuff with the Guardians, going out in his travels in space. Thor, of course, has been dealing with Tyrannos and Gaia and the Enchantress, and they actually reference a few of those things of how these two have been separated, but they've been dealing with a lot of different things. They both agree that it's time to deal with a shared to go on a shared adventure, and Hercules says that Nyx is up to no good, so they decide they're going to team up with Loki to go down to Antarctica where it is darkest to try and see if they can find Nyx. They do find Nyx and all of her children who are recently resurrected. We get a little bit of a scuffle with them before Loki makes it known that, oh, oops, this is one of those tests. And they kind of work their magic because that's what they are known to do. And they send Hercules and Thor to a land of pure darkness where we know Nyx and her children also are. But the first person they run into when they go to this new realm of darkness is, of course, Hercules' dad, Zeus. And that is where the issue ends. And we know from the cover of next issue, the Alex Ross cover at least, we know that the Thunderers, Zeus and Thor, they will butt heads in the next issue to some degree. And we know that Nyx will be back into that story as well. But Eric, I know that we skipped over a lot of fine details there, but just first impressions, what's something you want to really like drill in on and focus in on, and we can just go from there, man.
Yeah, I think really sort of at a high level, I think you did a good job summarizing the major plot points, but I think it's just fun to see the issue has a lot of variety. We're getting everything from grinder jokes when Loki asks
Oh my
Hercules if
gosh.
he's on an app since his breakup.
Yes.
Variety in this issue. Everything from, a little bit of some banter, a grinder joke when Loki asks Hercules if he's on any apps since
That was so good.
His breakup with Marvel Boy. So we're getting a lot of exposition, but some updates here. And then we get right into action. They're in their hero costumes. Hercules is back in his original attire. For a while there, he was in a little bit more militaristic sort of armor looking stuff. And then he's back in the thigh-high sandals and the and the toga skirt.
It's such a choice. It's such a choice.
But I think that's part of the Al Ewing run. It's like don't mess with the classics. Like let's just make it a thing. It's like the Superman costume. It's like it's so iconic. Let's lean into it,
Right. There were a lot of really great nods. Like you were saying, there were a lot of really great nods to other stuff in here. What was something that was a nod that you chased down, Eric, that you really enjoyed just kind of learning more about from this issue? Because there were a lot of things to choose from.
Oh, I've got a bunch of them. So the low key shirt, if fans are wondering, like, gosh, like that's such a clever shirt. I kind of wish they made that. The low key shirt made its first appearance back in 2019 in a run of Loki comics, Loki #3 in 2019. So interesting callback. It feels like a lot of stuff in this issue is coming from 2019. Like this is just one big callback from several years ago. Oh my gosh, what else do we have here? So we have references to Thor's love life. We have talk about She-Hulk and Roz and Jane, and it's sort of like bringing up this his, oh my gosh, what did he call it? Idle pleasures, and Hercules goes, maybe yours are idle.
I love that we got a Roz Solomon reference because like she feels like one of the like forgotten Thor characters over the last few years, where if she shows up like very briefly. But I love this reference here because obviously she's a pivotal character in my favorite run of Thor, which is Jason Aaron's run. Yeah, I love the name dropping there, and we get another name drop of Sif, but again we don't see Sif. I feel like we have name dropped Sif so many times in this run without seeing her or going back to Asgard really a lot. I think maybe if I had to critique Al Ewing's Thor in one. Again, just a guy on the internet. Who cares what I think? But we haven't seen a lot of Asgard. Like we resurrected the Rainbow Bridge. Sif is watching over the Rainbow Bridge. We saw that big battle with the Frost Giants in the first issue, and we see the Warriors 3 there, and Brunhild is there, and Sif is there, and we haven't seen them since. And I don't know, I feel like I just need a little Asgard in my life. I
Well,
need
we saw in the solicitations the cover for 15 is Thor flying over a golden city of Asgard, I think. So
It's about time. It's been
about
over a
time.
year. It's been over a year. But one other thing that I think maybe we should just share, Eric, is we've both said on previous episodes, and we've definitely been fans for sure. But how did your appreciation of Hercules come about? Was it just like as a supporting character to Thor, or were there other Hercules stories that you gravitated to along the way?
I really first of all, I'm a fan of hunky muscle guys, and so it's an obvious choice to
Hey,
be a fan of.
right. He's kind of an obvious choice then.
But I think that I'm such a fan of his character arc over the past few decades, honestly, where he goes from this overconfident, sort of foolish, and it's even referenced in this issue how he says he used to be foolish, and that he's sort of gained some wisdom since then. He's done a lot of growing up. He's become
Yeah.
sober. He's really found himself. He's gotten in touch with who he is, and there's been a lot of really fun. He's a character that he can play the fool and he can do it well. He can do some pretty wacky stuff, like being kicked in the crotch by Thor when in the
That is such
my
yes.
favorite, the Thorcules versus Hercuthor.
Thorcules and Hercuthor is one of my favorite like single issues of a comic. That Greg Pak Hercules run. It's so
One of the
funny.
best panels. The kick in the nuts is so
It's
cartoony.
just so good. And it's just nonsense. And I love it.
So he can do stuff like that. He can play those really lighthearted parts, but I think I'm almost talking about him like he's an actor. I'm like, he can play those parts, but he can also play the really sort of introspective, mature. He's also an immortal. He's also been around for a long time. So he's got this perspective. He has things that weigh heavy on his heart. He's trying to find himself and constantly reinvent himself. So I think there's just so much to that character and his growth over time that I'm really glad that hasn't been thrown out. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised that a writer isn't tempted to just be like, let's just make him fun again. Let's make him less, serious. And I think they're really finding a good balance because he's monologuing and sort of saying, well, I'm not all wise and the foolishness isn't all behind me, but he has perspective now.
Right. I think that I just personally I've really enjoyed Hercules back when he kind of took over the Incredible Hulk series, the Greg Pak Hercules. And I like classic Hercules. I like kind of the reductionistic Hercules as well. But I
like Harry Cleese when he's Thor's roommate and he right.
Yes. I always looked at Thor and Hercules as like the potential for them to tell like a deity god buddy cop movie where they are like Thor's the more serious of the two in general, but I love their dynamic. They fight like brothers. They fight side by side like brothers. They fight against each other like brothers. It's just there's something so relatable with how Thor and Hercules' relationship has evolved throughout the years. And we were saying this, I guess, a continuation of the brother comparison. We were talking about this on the pregame that they feel like college buddies who maybe haven't seen each other in a long time, but they catch up. They catch up in this issue, and then they say, "Okay, but Hercules is like, I've got a problem." Thor's like, well, I've got a problem too. So they get on the same page really fast. They pick up right where they left off, and then they go help each other accomplish the mission ahead of them. I love that dynamic for them. I love that Thor has this wide variety of friends that he can just be like, hey, Beta Ray Bill, I need your help. Hey, Warriors 3, I need your help. Hey, Jane, I need your help. Like he has this he has a supporting cast that's so rich and just so dense with good side characters that maybe
Mhm.
don't get as much play as they should.
And side characters that he can call true friends that really are going to have his back, and they make those relationships front and center, and the relationships are a give and take, and sometimes you don't always have to agree with your friends at all times, but when it really counts, they're really kind of there for each other.
Yeah, totally agreed. Let's jump back into the issue and get to Antarctica, where Thor, Hercules, and Loki, they are they are confronted with this giant, exaggeratedly posed version of Nyx, the goddess of night, and then her children show up. Eric, would you mind sharing with the listeners out there kind of just a little bit of the like detail of Nyx and who her kids are and why them coming back is such a maybe a big deal, and then we'll talk a little bit about what was able to bring her back, because that is actually really interesting part of this issue.
Yeah. So Nyx is the goddess of night. She has four children, and the firstborn is Hypnos, and he's the god of sleep. And then there are twins, uh, Apate and Dolos. Apate is deceit, and Dolos is trickery. And then the fourthborn is Ouzis. I
Oasis?
even
Oasis?
Oasis.
Yeah.
Okay. I even Googled the pronunciation. I still can't do it. It's Ouzis, and it's she is described as a horrible oozing mind creature, and she is
Gross.
misery. She's misery. She's that voice in your head telling you that you can't. It's the self-doubt. It's the
Yeah.
wallowing in your own self-pity. And I think, we can all relate to that sort of it's the personification of that idea. Um, the children were all completely defeated in Avengers No Road Home, right? None of them make it out alive.
Hmm.
And so seeing them back means that Nyx really is at her full power because she was able to resurrect them. They are battling and they're using their same tricks that they have used before. So if you are familiar with that other story, a fantastic callback, and if you haven't read it, go read it, and you're going to be like, oh, this makes way more sense because they're using, one of the twins has illusion powder. One of the twins uses this dagger. And Misery is able to get in the minds of the people that she ensnares and try to make them doubt themselves and are basically paralyzed with misery.
Hmm. It's just such a cool little cast of characters that make total sense for Nyx to have her children alongside her. And I love even the fight that Hypnos has with Hercules. He just bursts out of the ice and grabs him by the throat and is like about to stab him. And that's when Thor goes kind of ham on the personification of misery. We see Dolos and Apate threaten to they have Loki in a prone position. They threaten to cut their throat, and because Loki is himself or themself the god of lies and trickery and deceit, they're able to swap places with one of the ones that is holding them, and the other one is killed when they draw the knife across their neck, and Loki transforms again into their I don't know what this outfit is called, Eric. Like this, is this the Scald attire that Loki is sporting towards the end of the issue?
I think I don't know if it has a name, but it's just it's Loki's aspect as Thor's enemy.
Yes. Right, because that's another thing where Thor is kind of like, oh no, not this again, not this again. And Loki is like, well, time for another test. And they take Thor into this land of darkness. Now, as the transition to the land of darkness is happening, Eric, there's a little bit of talk about the different runes that show up. And the runes, you've done kind of a deep dive on the different runes that are associated with Thor throughout the last few years, last few runs. I would love if you would just give listeners a peek inside of the difference of the different runes that have been used for Thor.
Yeah, well, this is something that I've been trying to peel the onion back. I heard an interview with Al Ewing, and he said something along the lines of, "Oh, there's three weapons, there's three tests, and there's three runes in Thor's name. What about that?" And I'm like,
Hmm.
okay,
Hmm.
well, what's going on there? So we actually get proof of that, I think, in this because as Loki is opening this portal to this completely pitch black realm, some of the energy takes on the form of a rune called Uruz. And Thor says, one of the runes of my own name. And so that is verifying this idea that the runes that are associated with these tests are the runes of Thor's name. We've seen one before in the rune Radio, and I'm not pronouncing it right, but whatever. That's
Better
the
than
one that
most people would.
it's the one that looks like an R, and it was the
Yes.
rune that was carved on top of the staff. That remember, Thor had to carve this rune on top of the staff and then slam it into the ground to escape the dimension that he was in before doing the test, and that was where he forged the axe and got the first weapon of the first test. So now we're in the second test, and my theory is that the letters in the name are going backwards. If you look at the spelling of Thor, and you have radio and then Uruz, and then it would be going back to Thurazaz, which was the rune used in Donny Cates' Thor for his costume. That's the one
Yeah,
that was
right.
above the throne. It's the most important one that is always associated with Thor. And so I think the third trial coming up after this second one that we still don't know what he's going to be getting from this. Maybe he gets another weapon or something.
Yeah.
But I think Thurazaz is going to be the last one. um, we've seen other runes before associated with Thor. Uruz, the same one that's being used here, was also on Thor's belt in the J. Michael Straczynski Thor run. And then we've seen another rune, Othala, on Thor's what I call his Super Saiyan knee pads when he was
I mean,
battling the God of Hammers. Yeah.
yeah, so everybody, back in Donny Cates's run, at the end of the God of Hammers story arc, Eric pulled this up here, issue 22. If you have not seen Nick Klein's cover for Thor 22, do yourself a favor and Google it immediately. Because this attire is so it's the personification of Super Saiyan.
He's
It
gone
is him in
golden.
his
Yeah.
most god mode. So it's fantastic. And I think um as we speculate on the purpose of the runes and maybe what the three weapons could refer to, we get to the end where Zeus shows up. And Zeus says that here's what Zeus says. Where are you? You are in the land without sons, Hercules. He uses an older pronunciation spelling of Hercules. And thy father Zeus would have words. So we know kind of from the solicitation of next issue, Eric, that we're gonna see Thor and Zeus clash somehow. Will that leading to possibly the second weapon when Thor and Hercules face off against Zeus? What do you think this weapon could be or become, or what do you think? Maybe let's speculate wildly because we don't have a clue at this point. What do you think will happen at the end of this showdown with Zeus?
I think so. Thor says the rune of endurance and survival. And so I think he's going to be getting his some kind of power belt. I think back in I think it was the Walt Simonson run. Didn't he have like a power
Yes,
belt that doubled his strength
yes.
or something like that? And
Well,
we
and
saw in the annual that was the first preview of the Immortal Thor run. There's a panel where he has a belt on, and it's not an accident because Al Ewing is meticulous about what is included in these things.
there
So
are no accidents in Al Ewing's world. There are no accidents. And I agree. I think the belt of power, the belt of strength. I'm forgetting its traditional name currently, but it also shows up in the classic Thor Jack Kirby Stan Lee version as well as a power enhancement
mhm.
for Thor. I think that's a good suggestion because when we get to the end of this issue we learn of the solicitations for number 14 for Immortal Thor, but also the solicitation for the giant-sized Thor #1, which was referenced earlier on in this issue, where Thor thanks Hercules for helping him with the giant-sized Thor, and we're gonna know more about what that means in the next few weeks. We've got on August 14th and then August 21st, we have two brand new Thor stories coming. So, Eric, I'm going to read the solicitations for each of those, and we'll kind of just speculate for a hot minute, and then we'll get people on the Rainbow Bridge and get them along their way. So, Immortal Thor 14, the solicitation says, All Father versus Sky Father in the 775th issue, Clash of the Titans. Thor and Hercules are trapped in the realm of endless night, where Nyx and her children were at their full power. But there was a great danger caged in the dark realm. Zeus, king of the Greek gods, and when twin thunders met, could either survive. This is the story of the immortal Thor and the second test of 3. So, Eric, any hot takes for what's coming next in the main Immortal Thor book?
You got to remember, this is not regular Zeus. This is evil space pirate Zeus.
This is evil mustache Zeus.
this is the evil space Zeus, and the Guardians had incredible difficulty trying to deal with the Greek gods when they were reincarnated after they died the first time in Avengers No Road Home. So this Zeus is not to be trifled with, and it's going to be really interesting to see. I also love the Kirby crackle and just the color scheme that he has. It's so good. It's almost like he's negative. Yeah.
So good. And I love that attire for Zeus where he has the lightning bolt across his chest. In the cutout of his design. It's almost like a crooked V-neck, but off to the side. I love that. Then the solicitation for giant-sized Thor #1 says, why did Thor say he owes Hercules a favor? Al Ewing explains all in this giant-sized spectacular. Thor, All-Father, and Hercules, God of Heroes, had joined forces many times as fast friends and fierce rivals, but never before like this. For in the farthest reaches of space, the deific duo faced the greatest and most terrifying war machine ever created, and it bore the Thunderer's face. This is the story of the giant-sized Thor. So, Eric, I'm gonna just jump ahead of you right here. Are we gonna get Thor and Hercules versus like a giant, like mech suit Thor, like a giant robot Thor, going back to Martin Coccolo and Donny Cates's
Gundam Iron Man.
The Gundam Iron Man, yes. Like, are we gonna get that, but as Thor this time? Because if so, I'm all ready for that.
Most terrifying war machine. I mean, it sounds huge. And I just love that Al Ewing couldn't help himself, and he's gonna find the play on words. It's literally a giant-sized
Thor. Like I don't feel ready for that, but I'm ready for the idea of that. I'm excited for these next 2 issues very, very much. Eric, do you have any final thoughts on our new issue today, or maybe some of the things that are coming up in the next few weeks with Thor and Hercules? We got so much Thor and Hercules over the next month.
We are really spoiled here with the amount of Thor coming out on the comic book store shelves. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to the Alex Ross cover on this with Thor and Hercules arm wrestling in a diner.
Yes.
I think this is going to be one of those covers that I just have on the wall for a long time. It's fantastic. So I forgot to mention that before, and I just wanted to give it a quick shout out because it's delightful.
Love it. I love it. The variant covers for this issue were really good. A lot of Wolverine and Deadpool stuff, but also another very good, very just solid Walt Simonson cover with Carnilla and Loki and the Destroyer on that cover. So go check that out if you haven't. If you're one of those where the Alex Ross cover is not enough, this was definitely the week that keeps giving in terms of, just extra added bonus in those variant covers. And another quick thing, a little quick note before we wrap up here. A while back, Eric and I did kind of a what's happening in the Blood Hunt event. And the Blood Hunt event, if correct me if I'm wrong, Eric, but the Blood Hunt event, as of the time of this recording, has concluded. The last main issue has come out by this time. Am I
Yeah,
correct there?
it's all wrapped
So
up.
maybe over the next few weeks when we get together to talk about these Thor and Hercules adventures, we need to catch up on where Thor was at the end of the Blood Hunt event and how that event was, because I remember we did kind of a part one there, but now we have all the information and we can do a proper conclusion. Would you be up for that?
Where's the time? We got some back-to-back Thor weeks here. Yeah, if we can
Isn't
squeeze
that
it in.
amazing? Isn't that amazing? Like all these X-Men fans and these Spider-Man fans, they get it all the time. Like
Yeah.
we have two issues back to back, and we feel like we're just like we're at the buffet of just like endless Thor awesomeness. So, man, it feels good to live like one of the cool kids for a while in the comic book world. But in a matter of 4 weeks, we'll have gotten 3 issues of Thor. And if you count the upcoming What If Donald Duck Became Thor, we got that a few weeks after Giant Size Thor. We got so much new Thor stuff coming out, and man, us Thor fans are eating good right now. So everybody, if you want to continue this crazy ride of new Thor stuff with us, be sure to follow the show. Send us a review. Give us a star rating. We have not gotten a review or a star rating in a hot minute, so we would love one from you. If you feel like we deserve 5 stars, just click it. It's really easy. I know you can do it. I believe in you. You can do that. And if you want to check us out on Instagram, there's a link in our episode description. You can check out Marvel Thor podcast there. Check up on all of the things that we've got going on Patreon and things like that. If you want to join Patreon, like Eric, you can be a part of our Thor core of fans over there. And we've got bonus episodes going up for just about everything. We got hours of bonus content you can enjoy there, especially our pre-games. Our pre-games are a lot of fun because we come in with this energy for an episode. And sometimes, I won't lie, guys, sometimes the pre-games are just as good, if not better, than the main episodes because we don't have as much of an agenda on there, and they're just they can be whatever they need to be or whatever we want them to be, and we have a lot of fun over there. So if you want to check that out, click that other link in the episode description and support the show over on Patreon. Eric, we got anything else left? Have we finished the mission? Have we done what we set out to do today?
We went from Greece to Antarctica and then down a black hole. So I think we've done a lot.
We've definitely traveled a lot, that's for sure. So, with that being said, we're going to send you along your way, listener. We hope that as you get back on the Rainbow Bridge and head back to whatever part of the Nine Realms you are in, we hope that you remember to do one thing, no matter what you are doing, no matter where you're at, no matter who you're with. Just remember to please stay worthy. Bum 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 bum. Da, da, da.